35, Milton.
Oh,
And Cross will be the same.
wow. Chief, I'm sorry. That makes you.
Okay, looks like it is time to begin our council meeting. If everybody would stand, go Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for this opportunity that we have to serve our great city. We ask God for your guidance and for your leadership in every decision that we make. We ask God that you would be with each and every individual in our community and touch their lives and just bless them, God. Just bless our community in a way that we've never seen before. God, and we just thank you for giving us these days that we have to work for you, Lord. And we just ask, God, that you would just move and minister in each and every home and in each and every life in this city. It's in your precious name that we ask these things. Amen.
Amen. Yeah. Please face the flag. Attention. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody to our council meeting. I'd like to say a special welcome to Butch Lane, who is with us today. Butch has had some health issues, and it's a treat and a joy to be able to see him here today. So good to see you, Butch. All right, has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, need to pay the bills.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion and a second to pay our bills. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Okay, first on the agenda is citizen participation. We have the new chamber director, Jennifer McCurdy, wanted to come and give us an update on some things that she's been doing through the chamber. So, Jennifer, welcome.
Thank y'all for having me. Just on behalf of the Payne Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and myself, we wanted to thank y'all for supporting us, and especially for the dressing rooms. They look fantastic, and I know the community will enjoy them, as well as the theater and those who attend events at the theater. Just a quick update of some things that are happening at the chamber. Since I began my tenure in October, we've had 35 new members join the Chamber of Commerce. We have a new logo with our tagline, Partner, Build, and Prosper. Hopefully that resonates with you all, that we partner, we can build a better Fort Payne and all prosper. We've partnered with JSU Small Business Development Center to provide free business consultation monthly at the Chamber. We've partnered with Main Street to host a monthly business networking luncheon at the Chamber of Commerce. It's called Success in 60. We have various speakers come in and local businesses sponsor that. And it's been successful as well. We've had about 20 or 25 local businesses attend. We are utilizing retail strategies. I've contacted, reached out to them, and we're accessing their resources to help with chamber initiatives as well. So that's a partnership that I'm excited to have. I think they'll be beneficial to work with. We also are working with Main Street on recruitment efforts for downtown. We've been talking with a couple of prospective businesses and working together to recruit for Main Street downtown. I'm also working with the Community Foundation of Northeast Alabama on a grant writing class for our members and the community. We are starting a brand new young professionals group. I'm super excited about this. It's Rising Leaders of DeKalb. Randy Posey and Cole Justice are spearheading that. We just had our first meeting yesterday, and it's an initiative to kind of help industries retain their interns. We'll have socials and events for interns in the community, and also for students who maybe are finishing up college. They can come back and have a networking event with our young professionals. And just to maybe meet people and understand we do have a lot to offer in Fort Payne and stay in our community. And it also helps us to kind of groom leaders for our community for future roles that we'll need. And we've also started back our Chamber Ambassador program, and that's going well. Vicki Bateman's actually the chairman, Scott Bateman's wife, and she's doing a fantastic job. She's super excited to be a part of the chamber. Some upcoming events that we have. let me go back to the young professionals. The Economic Development Authority and TVA is also helping us with that, so they're very much involved with kind of helping us set that up. So that's another partnership that we're excited to have. We're also working with tourism to work more closely with them on events, projects, and resources as not to duplicate work. And I have recently we're starting a program at Fort Payne High School, a job shadowing program. Mr. Jett and Anna Sugar and Valerie Barnes had mentioned that some of their outstanding seniors were interested in job shadowing and thought that going through the chamber would be a good avenue for that. So we're implementing that this year. We are working the third Saturday, and that's this third Saturday. We'll be on site to promote the chamber and provide their resource for the attendees. We have our Women in Business Luncheon set for August 23rd at the building, and we're still looking for a woman in management. So if you'll just follow us on Facebook, and if we don't have your email address, give it to us, and we'll be sure to keep you posted on what's happening with that event. Any of our events that we have, if you'll just check us out on Facebook or our website, they should be posted and listed there. We are also offering this year a Scott Bateman Memorial Scholarship with Regions Bank. And that, we're already interviewing 3 candidates for that, and then we'll name that in the next week, the candidate that it's $1,000. So that's a great partnership with Regions Bank, and they've given us $5,000, so we know we'll do it for the next 5 years, $1,000 a year. And hopefully we'll be able to give more moving forward. And Vicki Bateman, again, is very involved in that, and her daughter Kelly is going to present the award, or the recipient with their scholarship. In June, we have After Hours at Manitou Cave. That'll be a fun time on June 28th. And this past Saturday, we had Shred Day. We partnered with BBD and AARP for that. And it was a pretty good event. I think that we learned a lot, and hopefully we'll grow and offer more services with Shred Day, and maybe have one in the fall. And one more thing is James Dean Pizza Cats partnered with us at the Chamber to offer t-shirt fundraising event for the school systems, and the money raised will go back to the arts and the lobbying program at the elementary school. He's already sent the artwork for it. We're working with the schools for the t-shirt design and putting that together, and so it means a lot to them to get back in the community. So we're excited to partner with them for that. I think that's about it. We've got a lot going on, after hours and breakfast every month, and I hope that y'all can attend some of those and network with our businesses in the community. And again, just thanks so much for all y'all do to help us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chip.
I'd just like to say that I'm so proud of the job you're doing and the fact that you are working with the community and with Third Saturday, Main Street, the Tourist Association. That's so important to us, I think, because we know that you're making the most of the money that is allocated to you from us. So I just wanted to thank you.
Who does? Okay, moving right along. Resolution 2018-19 declaring certain fire department equipment surplus no longer needed for public or municipal use.
This is old exercise equipment that was actually handed down from the rec center years ago, so I'd make a motion we adopt that resolution.
Is it not being used, or is it not usable, or?
No, it's usable, it's just we replace with some better equipment.
No, it has already been replaced.
Yes, we've got it in storage right now.
Okay.
Second.
I do.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. All right, resolution 2018-20 designating official representatives for the upcoming sewer projects.
This is a requirement of the SRF money application that we've applied for recently. This is just standard operating procedure for this.
This allows us to let the mayor sign the contracts and be our representative. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
You got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. All right. Resolution 2018-21 granting tax abatements to Young Industrial Properties, LLC. Jimmy?
This is a new project that we've been working on with Mr. Paul Young, who I think most of you know real well. This is a project to be located up on the old coal loading facilities up on Valley Head Road.
Okay.
And this is something I've always looked at for possibilities, because this will bring a rail terminal into Fort Payne. And hopefully in the future, they might use that to help our local industries in loading and unloading material. But right now, it's going to be used by YS Incorporated. And Paul, I'll just let you talk about that, if you will, what y'all will be doing.
Well, our company right now is located on the south end of the county, down around Lebanon. We've been there since 1982. We're a service company that primarily targets the chemical and agriculture sectors. And we got a few of my team members here in management. But for years, we have always dreamed about having access to a rail site. So we've looked at surrounding counties for many years, trying to find a spot, and just could never find the right one. I heard about this property that became available in North Fort Payne, and really didn't waste any time. I just started moving on it. And so it's kind of working in reverse. I had enough faith in the project that I went ahead and acquired it, and then got Jimmy's office involved. And so then I started beating up on Norfolk Southern for some communication. If you ever dealt with them, that's a long, tedious process. But I finally got a hold of somebody after about 6 months and shared our vision with him, and we came up with, he moved pretty quickly actually. He got me in touch with one of their engineers in Atlanta. He took our process, and then he came up with this concept, which we really fell in love with. And so this is what we envisioned with the property. It's going to be kind of a mixed bag of services, but primarily it's going to be industrial manufacturing. We're going to do some work there inside the building, but we're also going to do some work in the way of transloading. There's a lot of companies in the southeast that have a problem with transportation right now in the way of trucking, because it's so competitive. Rates are sky high, and they're looking for an alternative. And so we envision our services to be able to transload from the rail volume down to a truckload volume to help surrounding companies that are in the northeast Alabama, plus also for ourselves. It's going to be a benefit for us. So we're excited about it. We're just in the beginning stages. We've done soil samples out there. We've got a consultant hired in Birmingham, and so we're in the infancy steps of it, but we forecast that we can get this up and get this going and be in business probably summer of 2019. And this is an expansion of what we're doing. Our things that we do currently out at YS will predominantly stay there, but this is just pure growth for us. So we want to bring it to Fort Payne.
And that property been vacant and unused for several years, has it not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We bought it in fragments. The first section was about 14 acres, and then we acquired another acre from an owner, and then actually took it all the way up to 63rd Street that we acquired about a month ago. And so we see about 16 acres of it being usable for our needs. But it's a nice buffer, and it used to have an old spur on it that was it was a coal unloader.
Is it still usable?
No,
the
sir.
spur?
No, that was one curveball.
One of the hang-ups?
Yeah, it's just old and dilapidated, and so they're probably gonna pull that up, recycle it. So it'll be, we envision, if you look at the diagram, a spur that's gonna take up the length of the property would be one track, and then the other two tracks would be buffering our building proposals, where we could bring product in directly into the building for processing.
Well, it sounds like a win to me.
Well, I think this is something we'll be seeing a lot of now, because as Paul said, truck transportation, number one, they can't find drivers. It's going up fast, and we're seeing more industries looking at rail now. So.
Electronic log deal is really complicated truck driving too.
Yeah.
They have to pull over the park. Yeah.
And we just had a meeting actually with a current customer just before this meeting, and we were talking specifically about this. They sent in a procurement company, or a procurement representative of their company, and talking about opportunities. And so, I mean, it's real. They're a good things that can happen, not only for us, but the availability of offering new services and then hopefully jobs.
This is about a $2 million investment for you.
Sir?
Yeah.
What we're looking at is like nearly $2 million here.
Yes,
What I
$2
said
million
is right.
worth of investment. And they're also using Goodman Meals, which we're using at the high school.
Yep.
And, you know, we're trying, maybe we can get them to cut some of their costs a little bit. But anyway, there are two abatements, two resolutions. One pertains to the ownership of the building and property. The other one relates to equipment and everything for the operations of the facility.
We can do them at the same time.
I make a motion to approve that, baby.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank
Okay,
you.
motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Continued business on the Sawyer Field, the lighting at the Sawyer Field. I think we
decided we were pretty well gonna go with this. We just need to make sure the money is there, and Jessica says we've got the money there, so it's just a matter of us formalizing a vote on that, so I'll go ahead and make a motion, we proceed on that.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to proceed with the Sawyer Field lights. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I think this will be a big help for us.
What was it now?
A little under $15,000.
Okay. New business, change of address. Carter's Beverage is relocating to 2308 Galt Avenue North, across the street from their current location.
And does it have to change it to its
They're
location?
moving across the street.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, we got one board appointment. Carolyn Martin's term on the Fort Payne School Board expires on June the 1st. She has only served one term.
Ms. Martin has only been one term, and I understand that she's an excellent board member. I'll make a motion she be reappointed.
I'll second it.
Got a
I've worked
motion?
with her, I think. Yeah, we need her there. She's very important.
And right now, whenever they're going through some growing pains, I think Jimmy can attest to, it's good to have some stability.
Yes.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second to reappoint Carolyn Martin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Got to authorize a budget adjustment for approximately $5,700 for hazardous materials survey at the old hospital site.
Okay, I've exhausted all hope of any type of grant money to do the survey. It's my understanding that once the survey is done and an estimate is made on what it's going to cost to remove the hazardous material, then that can be included in the grant. But we can't go back and get whatever we spend now for the survey. $5,750. And more than likely we'll use that same company to, well, they'll give us an estimate on removing the material, and then it'll be on the bid process whenever we get the grant formalized. We can't go any further with the grant until this is done. We can go ahead with the grant without assuming ownership of the property, but we got to have this, and we got to have an estimate on what it takes to get the hazardous material removed, and also an estimate of what it actually is going to cost for the demolition itself. And I've got some folks that are working on that 2 or 3 different ways whereby we may be doing some of the work ourselves that would lower the cost, and then of course the process of this contracting all of it out to start with. So this is the point where we're at. We need to go ahead and get this survey done. I talked to the fellow last week. He can probably have it done within 2 weeks. So you take samples from all these locations, send them off. It takes about a week to get those samples back. And that determines what you gotta remove, and what you don't have to remove.
I got a couple of questions about this. Maybe three, I don't know. But didn't we just authorize the expense of sending a couple of firemen to school to be able to do this type?
We sent one fireman,
What? Go ahead.
we sent one fireman.
Okay.
And he, along with two other firemen and a police officer, went through the building and did some floor plans, and gave us some information that we didn't have. He really feels like that he's inadequate to handle a job this big.
So has he received the training?
He has received the training, yeah. And
So
he's,
he is certified to do the survey.
He's certified to, yes, to determine what's in there, or to send the samples off, yes, sir.
Then who are you proposing spending $5,700 with if we got a person on the payroll that can collect and send off the sample?
you do it either way you want to. But, like I said, he doesn't feel comfortable in doing all of it right now because he hasn't had that much experience. Secondly, if we do it that way, then we've got to come up with a company that is, I guess, confident enough to take whatever we say and remove what we say, which they've got to abide by all ADM regulations and what have you.
There's also that expense, excuse me, Mayor, when he takes those samples, they're still going to, the city will have an expense to send those samples off and be determined.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing, Mayor. You mentioned taking ownership of that property. The city doesn't have ownership of that property.
No.
And personally, I have a problem with obligating the city to a bunch of debt and spending a lot of money on some property that we don't own, we may never own. Do we even know? Can it even be determined who owns that property?
Yeah, Rocky's.
I think a lot of that is in question. I mean, the company, my understanding is that the company who owns it has somewhat disappeared.
Right.
So.
Well, I think.
Actually, the state of Alabama basically owns it now from the back tax standpoint.
Well, I think we need to make whatever arrangements we have to make, that if we're gonna be at the expense of spending a bunch of money up there on that property, that we own it. Because I'd hate to see us spend a whole bunch of money and clean that up there and this group that supposedly disappeared all of a sudden show up and claim ownership to it.
Well, that's fine, but the general consensus before was we didn't want to own it because we didn't want the liability if we didn't know how we were going to take it down. So I would prefer just go ahead and take ownership now, if y'all are agreeable to it.
Well,
Agreeable to that at all right now.
well, I'm not agreeable to it under the circumstances right now either, and it's, you know, I don't see how we're gonna authorize spending public money on private property that we don't own. I just have a problem with that.
The only way we're ever gonna get ownership of it is to take it, and we're not gonna take it until we determine that it's safe and that we can get grant money to demo it and clean it up, was my understanding.
That's right.
Is that kind of the way?
The only way to do that is to have this done.
We've gotta do this, and if we have to spend $6,000 to have a study done that says we'll get this out and it's gonna cost this much money, we have to have that done before we can even get grant money to take it out. Is that
Can't even
correct?
apply.
Okay, so,
And we can apply without having ownership.
Yes, yes.
but we've gotta know what to get out of there and how much before we can even do that.
The worst case scenario, if we take ownership of it, isn't there something that says they have to come up with money for the improvements made, or no? They could
Take it,
just,
if we buy it at a
If you
tax
buy
sale.
it at a tax sale,
yes,
there are requirements that they have to meet, not necessarily for the improvements made, but for the past taxes and all that kind of stuff. So there are requirements that they have to meet in order to be able to buy it back.
right.
And they have like, what, 3 years, 2 years?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a limited time frame.
We got grant money that was used to tear that thing down and made it a viable property again. Would they have to reimburse that grant for that? Or whoever applied for that grant had some possible match?
They do have to reimburse if you've paid back taxes and certain things. I don't know about them having to reimburse a grant. I haven't looked at that. I
But
can look at it.
if we negotiate a clear title switch from them for $1, they can't come back and take it after the grant money tears it down, right?
If you negotiate with the actual company that
Right.
owns it, if you can find them.
Yeah. So
But
what
if
we're,
you, if you negotiate with them and make a purchase from them, then no, it's not the same thing as buying it
Right.
at a
but
tax
if we
sale.
buy it at a tax sale, then they reappear out of the mist after it's cleaned up and want it back for
There are some mechanisms. that they can
$50,000
follow
and
that
we're out
they
of
can-
grant.
Well, I don't think we're ever gonna locate that owner. I mean, he skipped the country with about
What's
6
your
of these
opinion, lawyer?
properties.
I don't see a legal problem with doing a survey in order, if that's what y'all decide you want to do, in order to determine whether you want to move forward towards ownership. I mean, we do land surveys and that kind of thing all the time to determine if that's a path that we want to take. So I don't necessarily see a problem legally with doing the survey that's being
This
requested.
just gets us to the point of knowing what has to be taken out of it, roughly what it would cost.
Correct, and then making that decision.
Okay.
Well, after the map code, this is the issue I hear most.
Right.
Yep.
I started to say, it's a big eyesore that, you hear day after day after
It
day.
is a big eyesore, I'll agree with that.
I think we just go ahead and take a leap of faith here and see what we can do. I make a motion we authorize the budget to proceed.
I'll second it.
We've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I oppose.
Okay.
Let me ask one question, Tim, if you don't mind, before we go. Jimmy, you may have answered this, forgive me if I'm asking it again. What is the difference if we go up there and expend money to do whatever we do on this property as opposed to these dozens of other properties we do around town and file a lien against?
As far as I know, there's no difference. We can file a lien against it.
So we could, in theory, we could spend $75,000, file a lien against the property owner for that amount, and we would, should they come back, Wade, we would be assured of at least getting our money back.
It would never change ownership unless that lien was satisfied, so we're basically insuring ourselves
Yeah,
by using the legal system.
I would think that you guys would want to file a lien
Right.
on any expenditures that we do on that.
Oh, this would be one I'm
And
running
this
here.
would be one,
Right.
we've already got over $10,000 filed against it right now, just in
Yep.
mowing costs.
Mowing the grass. Yeah.
So we're already spending money.
We're already.
But we're filing liens, so
Right.
it's just another piece of the puzzle.
This would just be another lien.
Yeah, another lien. Okay, thank you.
Passed. Okay, grant application process. Discussion about the application and follow-up processes involved in obtaining and administering grants. You want to speak to that, Andy?
Yes, I do. We've gotten kind of off track here in the last several months about this process of filing grants, who files, who's in charge, who's the point man. And there's a lot of work that goes into a grant after the fact. And like I've said, and anybody that's ever dealt with them knows, is Encyclopedia Britannica thickness of the paperwork you have to keep up with. It don't matter if it's a $1,000 grant or a $1 million grant. Paperwork's the same. And, several meetings ago, we named Kim Irwin the grant writer. I think we might name James Payne as the engineer at that same meeting. And for instance, yesterday at 3:55, I get an email from Kelly, the Kelly Group, about a TAP application that had to be passed today. I said, there ain't no way. I mean, there's a 4 attachment email. So, she called today to ask if I was gonna have it on the agenda, and I said, no, I'm not. I said, who authorized it? And the response was, I don't know. I said, well, I'll get back with you tomorrow. So we're all over the place with this, and what I'm asking y'all to do is to consider designating one person in City Hall to be in charge of grants. Whether it's me, whether it's Jessica, whomever, it doesn't matter. But that one person has to be the repository of all the required information of grants. I mean, if the mayor's got some, if Lynn's got some, if you've got some, if Rocky's got some, I mean, halfway into it, we're getting phone calls from the people that are giving us money and say, hey, we need that 48 pages of information that you were supposed to have last week. And it's not working the way it is now.
Are you volunteering?
I don't mind.
I make a motion, we appoint Andy Parker.
I second.
Got a motion?
That's what I had in mind this time.
Well, I agree, and we've got to have some structure to that. And out of respect for you guys, I think it's something that's
I'm not
that's
casting stones.
needed.
I'm just saying it's been an issue, and it's gotten worse.
I think the first email we got a week ago had to be responded to by that afternoon.
That day, same day.
And it doesn't work like that. We've got the 2018 TAP grant. We should be notified next week that we did get it. That's the 2 blocks of downtown renovation. I think $800,000, we got $160,000 match.
And we gotta have it in.
No,
That's what we already
done.
got.
Well, we've yet to sign the contract with the person who got us the grant. Rocky's working on that. This phone call this week, we found out was the 2019 version of that grant, phase 2, and it's got to be turned in by May the 1st. But we haven't even proceeded into phase 1 yet, so I don't have a problem with us just kind of taking a deep breath on phase 2 till we get phase 1, where we can look and see what it entails. We got some cost figures, but we hadn't had any design stuff presented to us. We don't know what the sidewalks are going to look like, what the light, it says lighting, but it doesn't say what kind. So I think we need to hammer down the 2018 we're going to get before we proceed with this 2019. You can skip a year and come back and tie one in. As long as one ties into one, it makes it easier to get funded the second time around.
Is this water grant gonna be done in 2 years or gonna be done in 1 year?
They'll be funded in December, just like the sewer grant. The SRF, the water department applied for SRF loan to do the water line from 8th Street north to 3rd Street south. That will be funded in December, so it can be bid out in the fall and be ready for construction as soon as the money comes in. But from what I understand, we're talking with Paul, the water line is going to come right up to the curb and gutter and not get in the sidewalk. So these projects can work kind of hand in hand over the next year or so.
And ideally, your grants, you don't just come up off the cuff and say, hey, let's apply for a grant unless there's some new program or something. These things need to be considered during the budget process.
Right.
Because like we said, this particular grant had a $160,000 match, even though some of it's in kind. Your chances of getting a grant are better the more money you put in. Right. So those are things that need to consider.
And a lot of these grant files we have to keep permanently. Right. So we actually have a location in City Hall that the files are permanent. So I had a monitoring on the Huddle House project that was from 2005, right after I started working here. Tons of paperwork to have to find. So if we don't have these processes established, then 10 years down the road when that project gets...
They're not going to find it.
That's exactly right.
Well, we have to structure ourselves now for growth.
Right.
Because that's what we're working on, is growth for Fort Payne. If we don't structure it now, it's going to be just crazy.
And that's the good part about this. We've got 3 years of funding that we just allocated to ourselves the other day, so we can take this 2019, and the good part about it, the money that we've allocated for downtown, we can take a small portion of that and apply to these matches and save $800,000 over a 2-block course if we get another grant.
I just wonder, sorry Tony to put you on the spot, but since you introduced us to Kelly, is there a way for us to get some drawings from her?
Actually,
about?
I requested it this morning, wanted to know what was happening before this meeting, and I didn't know anything about phase 2, so I'm kind of perturbed by that personally, why she would submit one without request from somebody on the council. She said she won't release any drawings or the surveyor until the contract's signed. So she's waiting on the contract.
Okay.
We're kind of stuck with that because she filed the application and it's in her name.
You talking about the 18?
The 2018. We're supposed to be awarded that next week. It's in the governor's office, and we've basically been unofficially advised we're getting it.
Yeah.
But we hadn't signed a contract with her because there were some issues that Rocky's working out about what we were protected by and what we weren't. So as soon as they work that out and sign that contract, I'm assuming we'll get some drawings and see what the scope of that work is. Right now, we just know it's an $800,000 project.
Go ahead, Tamara.
Well, there were just some real concerns with the contract as far as limitations on their liability that we were not comfortable with and could not recommend that y'all sign that contract as it was. And then some other things, reimbursement of expenses and the manner in which that was gonna be done and that kind of thing. So I know that's why we haven't recommended that y'all sign it yet, and I think we've talked about it before, and we're just trying to get those things hammered out.
And that's still not been resolved?
I don't think so. I don't know if they haven't been able to get in touch. I apologize, I haven't been working on that, but I think that there has been, some investigation going on that and just kind of what's the norm, so that we're comfortable with what the norm is, and then trying to work out those liability issues.
So we don't know whether Rocky's actually talked with them or not.
I don't know that, I don't.
I mean, we need to get that signed. Thank you.
You're our grant guru here.
Yes,
We
please.
authorized him to sign it.
That's right, Andy.
Once we can get
Once
it
it
worked
meets the
out.
All right.
proper requirements.
Okay, moving right along.
Sir.
Streetlight request, Troy Fugit at 622 Lookout Terrace.
I haven't looked at it, I approve.
Okay, so we got approval
You
from,
have looked at it? Okay.
I make a motion.
Second.
got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, got a curbing request, Mr. Wade Hill,
No,
529.
denied.
I've looked at that and I approve.
Approved.
Second.
Got a motion, second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Mayor, you have a report for us?
I think most of the stuff I had has already been covered. I will like to say that I think that shortly we'll be at 100% in our police personnel, which has been a long time coming.
That's awesome, Randy.
Yeah.
Good job, Randy.
Yeah, we'll see.
I will tell you this, Addison Police Department just put 11 people through last academy, and they put 11 people through in this academy, so that tells you how hard it is right now.
Wow.
All right, do we want to
Um,
discuss any of the stuff we discussed at the work session?
Well, real quick, I thought we were gonna talk a little bit about Third Saturday. Did we wanna wait about that?
It's going to involve personnel.
Okay. Okay.
Do we need to do all that in executive
So
session?
if you
No.
have anything else to talk about.
What?
You want to just bring this up?
Sure.
Tony, come on up.
Coming to these meetings, I can put me on the spot. What would you like to do first?
Well,
These are the architects for the record, I know y'all met them. I'll introduce themselves.
Dan Fritz, President, Fifth Dimension.
Andy Olds, Fifth Dimension.
Okay, these are the guys that are, we're potentially talking about working on our MAPCO building. Hopefully we'll see a change in that real soon.
So we presented two different options for the site, two different options for the building at the work session. And it was agreed upon by the council to go with, is what's been referred to as the pavilion plan, and the site changes in coordination with it. We're gonna make minor modifications to the building based off that meeting, And I guess with y'all's approval, go ahead and get the construction manager to start determining some initial budget costs for what that building would cost at that point.
We need to hire.
So what do we need to officially do here?
Mr. Grubbs, is he here?
Make a motion that we go ahead and retain Ray Lynn.
Does he have a contract?
He will have a proposal to us this afternoon. We can approve that as soon as the attorney.
Tentatively approve it, I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion, a second, to tentatively approve the contract from Jay Grubbs at Ray Lynn.
Right.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Do we have approval to go ahead and share drawings with them?
Sure.
Along with that? Okay. Do we need to, we don't have to make a motion or anything for this design approval?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
He's already basically hired this guy.
Okay.
Already hired. We're just waiting on some
And they
proposals.
We're excited to see the final product.
Thank you.
And I know the community is good.
Community
Good work, guys.
ready to see something
Yes,
happen
yes,
up
yes,
there.
yes.
We're pushing. We are too.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
y'all.
much.
When we come back and get some cost estimates, you're gonna have to vote on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Yeah, we'll have to set the budget for it.
All right, does anybody in the audience have anything to bring before the council? Appreciate you all being here today and being part of the community. Remember, we still got the rest of the month of April for cleanup. I think our sanitation department's doing a great job with the dumpsters. Street department's doing a great job with the cleanup. Hopefully by the end of April, we'll have a really clean city. So keep up the good work, guys.
Yeah, thanks to everyone.
It takes us all working together. So, if need a,
Going to executive session.
got a motion to go in executive session.
Second.
Got a second. All in favor, Wade? Yes.
Yeah.
Lynn?
Yes.
Okay. So we appreciate you guys coming.